Hello, it's Greg the Ghoul coming to you from Phantasm Comics, and I wanted to spotlight a publisher today. We're looking at Storm King Comics. They've sent us an amazing package, all on their own dime. Shipping was close to $15, $16. It was expensive for them to send these books free of charge to our comic shop. Thank you very much, Storm King Comics. We're going to look at one of their freebies they sent us. That's right, you can come in and get a free comic from Storm King Comics as long as we have them in stock. And they also sent us a huge stack of their back issues, which will be available as soon as we're open today. Lots of great content here. Some history on Storm King. They were formed in 2012 as a division of Storm King Productions. It's headed by writer, producer, and editor Sandy King. I actually got a chance to meet her at multiple conventions. Wonderful person. And along with her husband, she runs the company, director John Carpenter. King focuses on bringing the best writers from the world of comics, movies, and novels together to bring their special brand of horror and sci-fi entertainment to comics. I love Storm King Comics. I've been supporting them since they first came on, since we opened. We opened 2 years, about 4 years after they started. But as soon as we were here and the doors were open at Phantasm, we were bringing in Storm King Comics. And I just want to show you some of the comics that we have here with us today. Vault Comics, it's a 3-issue mini-series. And let's see, we got... So this is from their Tales of Science Fiction line. Vault, issue 1 of 3. Basically, issue 1, when the moon-bound crew of Gaia stumbles across an enormous alien vessel, more technologically advanced than their own, priorities change. The mystery deepens when the crew discovers the name of the vessel along the hull, written in English, Vault. Really cool story. I remember reading this, and I was getting some real alien sort of vibes from it. I love the claustrophobic space feel of the crew just on a derelict ship. The aesthetic is wonderful, and the artwork was shocking. I mean, there are some spreads in here that are brutal, and it's filled with just a lot of monsters and horror. Basically, this is the one that they launched with for their sci-fi fiction, Tales of Sci-Fi Fiction. Vault is the first story of John Carpenter's new monthly anthology series, Tales of Science Fiction. Vortex. Yeah, this one looks great. This was an 8-issue miniseries that they put out. So I like that they were mixing it up with Tales of Science Fiction. There was no real format set. I was like, okay, so we're going to get like these 3-issue story arcs, fun, digestible horror. All of a sudden, Vortex comes out, and then you're like, wow, an 8-issue miniseries, something to sink your teeth into. So I was very excited about that. Vortex, with all communication lost from a mining asteroid, Space Station Benson dispatches a rescue ship to investigate. What the team discovers threatens not only to overwhelm and destroy them, but could ultimately threaten all life on Earth. The second story in the John Carpenter's new monthly anthology series, Tales of Science Fiction, begins with Vortex. Really good read. I remember getting this one as well. Again, it has these... I was talking to a friend last night about how I would love to see the House of Mouse, who just acquired Alien and Predator. A little sidebar. Marvel has the franchise rights to Alien and Predator, so I'd love to see some comic books coming out from them, overlapping with Spider-Man meets the Predator or Alien. That'd be pretty wild. 2 bugs against each other. But I would love to see more content coming out from Alien and Predator that isn't just movies. Let's get a series. Let's get an R-rated animated show. This series of books, of comics, scratches that itch that I want for more alien horror. Let's see here. So Standoff was up next. So we have issue number 1. And the wonderful thing they did with this one is they sent both covers. I actually have a poster of issue number 1's variant cover. Love that. Standoff number 1 Tattersall Prison. Max Locke, the baddest of the bad, until something from the night sky crashes into the complex, trapping cons and guards on the inside, cops on the outside, and escapees between, all of them threatened by a hideous invader who needs to take over nice, warm human bodies. It's a hostage situation, it's a battle between species, it's Earth's most serious standoff. I mean, we're talking Predator here. Just imagine dropping Predator into it. You don't have to. You can read this comic, and here it is. Wow, this is some wild artwork. Up next was Surviving Nuclear Attack. Love this cover, kind of a retro nuclear age poster cover. This is a big one. As the Cold War rose in the 1950s, military hero Captain George Cutter and his family trained to be legacy survivors in the event of an atomic exchange with the Soviet Union. Prepared to wait out the aftermath of nuclear war, they were subjected to numerous simulations, scenarios, and stresses in hopes of helping salvage something of their family, their country, and humanity from the ashes of a conflict with the Russians that never happened. But when a group of lost hunting buddies stumbles upon a seemingly abandoned fallout shelter in the present-day Pennsylvania wilderness, they'll uncover secrets best left buried. What was the nature of the secret Akronite initiative? What lengths did the United States go to in order to prepare for all-out war and its aftermath? What did the Cutter family endure in preparation for their duty? And if World War III never broke out, why are they still down there? Whoa, this is wild. Next up, we had Twitch from Tales of Science Fiction. Unfortunately, again, I didn't get a chance to read this one, but the artwork was always striking. They were going with some like photo covers there. Twitch number 1, the desert above Los Angeles is a harsh, unforgiving place. The heat does something to people's brains, or so thinks Lieutenant Ron Pinkerton, who is investigating a series of shockingly violent crimes perpetrated by the most unlikely suspects. Meanwhile, just a few miles away, astrophysicists at the Mount Wilson Observatory are grappling with another kind of threat, one that threatens to extinguish humanity in the time it takes for your eye to twitch. Love it. Issues 1 through 5 now available. Storm King Comics. They sent these to us to help the comic shops out. That's why we love some of these publishers that are doing this. They understand that during these tougher times, comic shops need some help. We have bills coming in weekly for everything that you see here in the shop. We're paying basically weekly for this stuff to come in, so you have some really cool stuff to look at. And the comics do not stop. So Storm King understands that. They get it that it's a relationship that we need to work together, comic shops and publishers, for us to survive and for them to survive. DC and Marvel might be all right on their own, but Storm King Comics, Boom, Ablaze, AWA, they need the comic shops to get their content out, and we need their content to get customers in. So we got to all work together. And here's another one, Redhead. Marnie Young, an executive assistant in San Diego, is a sweet girl who wouldn't hurt a fly. She's also super lonely, but one night, without warning, Marnie has a violent seizure. Co-workers recoil in horror as she wreathes on the floor. 2 days later, Marnie wakes up in a hospital room. As her vision comes into focus, she sees 17 doctors and nurses dead on the floor, blood splattered everywhere. Soon she discovers the shocking truth. Marnie has become lethal, and everyone who comes within 3 feet of her dies instantly, which is really going to mess up her dating life, if she had one. Is there a cure? Can anyone get close enough to find out? Redhead number 1 sounds like a wild story. That's all we've got from Storm King Comics, but that is quite the epic haul they've sent us. Thank you again so much, Storm King Comics, and stop into your local comic shop to pick them up, and if they don't have it, ask for them. Go up to the counter and say, can you get me some Storm King Comics? Because if you're into Alien, if you're into The Thing, if you like sci-fi horror, this is the company that you want to be reading in comic book form. So thanks for watching today, guys. Remember to subscribe, like, share out our videos, and never forget to pick up your comics from the comic shop. All right, guys, have a great day.